Alright. Green citations. Welcome back to Aurora 4X. And the tutorial. Alright. So, ground forces. That's not ground forces. That's ground forces. Order of battle. If you have ground forces, it'll be listed here. This is formation templates. This is everything that's been designed for us. This is where I'm like, this is where it's kind of good on this end. You know, ground force construction, whatever. Sometimes it makes sense, you know. If you want to design your ground force templates or your formations, like, this heavy tank seems kind of useless. It is a infantry cap. So infantry cap. Oh, we have a, what is it, size 12? Size 12, right? Yeah. Size 12, 666, 688, you know. Wow, oh, that's kind of, you know, that's actually kind of right, you know. Don't really need to do anything there. The HQs are kind of messed up, but we'll get to that later. You can look at, so each of these, how they're built. Like, what do the garrisons usually have? They have a bunch of infantry, tanks, some anti-air, construction vehicles, resupply, and HQ. A regiment has an HQ. This is bad. Because the HQ is 7 and they have 15. Well, the size is 13. This is not how the HQs are actually done. You need one HQ that can handle a 14. This can only have a 7. This is bad. Two that can handle 17. That's good. One that can handle 50. You need to have these reasonable. This is why I usually have like 1 and 50. Like a 1,000 and a 5,000. Not because they match up here, but because of the ships that they have to be transported in. This is planet defense. You know, how things are broken down. Generally design something here. You research it. This is like one of the single times I would go like Space Master mode on. Design a class. Like what does the infantry HQ look like? This is a infantry HQ 35. Infantry HQ. They have like 7, right? Maintenance cost 35. They needed a 14. 0.7. Voids combat. No. Instant. This is, you know, Space Master mode allows you to put this instant, so you immediately go from pop there. Unit class, rename unit. Infantry HQ. I didn't need to do it on this side. I probably should have done it on this side. You know, infantry HQ on this side. No. Infantry regiment. Delete that element. Add one element of that in here. Ah. Now this is a good unit because the HQ is bigger than this thing. You can add one more unit to to double up on that. So like the 17 here, HQ 17 matches with that number. That is important. Because this number does not equal this number, or it's not greater than this number, your infantry will not work, or your unit will not work. So this has a 50 and this only has 11. This is supposed to be a bigger type of unit. This thing's supposed to like incorporate a bunch of these under this. A bunch of these are supposed to go under this. That's basically how it works. Like the brigade HQ is bigger than the regiment, but whatever. It's like, yeah. So the HQ on this is 9. The size is 8. That works. Size is 7. Size is 6. Actual size is 6. Makes sense. Works. Now this part right here, the HQ was 7, but the size of the regiment was 14. So that did not make sense. So we need to redo that one. But this will it's like gives you an idea of how things should be around. You got your STO, construction vehicles, that. Infantry regiment, they got some resupplies, some construction vehicles. Garrison. If you need help building these things, click the auto design, ground forces thing, so you can get a start to look at what those things need to be. But in general, you're not going to worry too much about this until you start invading people. Commanders, click automated assignments. This means that these ships over here that we have now will get assigned proper captains and such. That's basically what it means. But when you start in the game, when you go to commanders, you're going to need first need to go to like your highest guy here, go to your admin command, RADL, Rear Admiral, lower half, minimum, so naval officer, minimum rank, lower half. What do I want on that? I want someone with, where was it? This? If you look at the thing, what matters the most to you on this? Like, what matters the most? Probably reaction? I don't know. Got all these things. Terraforming, communications, logistics, logistics, whatever. This guy has best logistics. There, assign, bop. Oh, then we need a captain. Bop. This allows us to go from like these guys up to the captains added with that, added with that, added with that. So this is the minimum rank. So this is the top of the rank. This is the bottom of the rank. Basic. Naval, we want reaction, or no, tactical. Pop, assign. And then logistics. Oh, this needs a CDR, which is a commander. Be that low. Okay. Logistics. Assign. Survey. That. And if we go back to this, training. BA training, right? Crew training. You assign. We're done with that. That's all the naval commanders, ground force commanders we don't need ever really worry about. Now scientists are important. You want to choose someone with like the minimum thing. immediately we're looking at Academy Commandant. So Academy Commandant, when you select a scientist, pop. And you want to choose someone with 0 because they are the most useless guy you have. I think the units produced by a commander reflected on the commander, or the scientist that's on the Commandant will reflect. So we'll get more construction production guys than any other things. Hopefully. Let's say, like, Gale Navon here. He's in construction production. I kind of want to put him in logistics, so we go here. You know, we're on Gale Navon, changes field. Now tells me about that. Go to logistics. Boom! Now he's in logistics. So if you got you know, too many in one area, you can change your field with a 75%, you know, error. When you back in construction production. If you run into a problem, you can click that, I think. Now, administrators. These guys are going to populations. Since I'm telling you to use this governor tab, you know, click that, click assign governor, or if you've done a bunch of colonies, you forgot to, if you don't remember you assigned all governor colonies, you just click this button. So this is for, you know, the individual. This is for anything blank that you may or may not have missed. So you're not really going to worry about administrators. You're not really going to worry about commanders. Your fleet, your ground forces, because those will be automated assigned because you got that button. Your ship commanders will automatically be designed. You're going to worry about your naval commanders for your fleet commands, or for your administration commands. Because these guys are going to die off and you're going to forget about them. Mostly. Now, story character will not die, as far as I'm aware. But he can, you know, suffer a lot of things. So he won't be randomly dying. So if we went to construction production, your Commandant Earth, we're going to click you as a story commander. Do not promote means, you know, like the guy's here. He's a vice admiral. No, he's in charge of something. Oh, this guy's a Sarge survey. We're generally, you know, it's like, oh, I don't want him to get promoted, so he gets unassigned type thing. Usually that matters more on ships than commands. Because admin commands, you, even if they get promoted, they don't drop that. So that's good. Alright, here we got medals. The game doesn't come with any medals. That's why I have this, which is the Froggiest medal set, I believe. It's in my notes. So that, no, I put it in the folder with Aurora 4X. So this, you know, this is an additional drive I have. I put a Aurora 4X on it. I shipped the metal thing in here, so when I load it, it'll immediately be there. Electrons is in here too, but that's my. So we have. I have three things I use. I have the missile ship designer. I have the metal set, and I have electrons. Electrons is more important when you're later in the game, your mid game, your late game, when you need to balance things out and when you're balancing things out and figuring out where things are. That has a lot more. So that has a lot more functionality comparatively. Wow. Imported all the metals. This will handle basically everything, so you never have to worry about it. If you wanted to create your own metals, you can do that, but all the metals that would be in the game are here. So that's why, you know, I will go here, import the metals, grab that, import it. If you know you want to rename these, redesign, then you can just click the export metal button. You know, create your own file save. Blah blah blah. But I just usually just go import that thing, import that thing. I don't know if this game's gonna crash on that. I never double imported it before. Oh, yep, it crashed. That's why you want to save often. When you load the game up, it will load you at your last save. Since we have done nothing effectively, it doesn't matter. But whenever you do something, you want to click the save button. It's over here, your save current game. Because this game will crash on you randomly. Like that. Then we have the race window here, which gives you your basic overview of yourself. If you find anyone else, you can click them too. We got, you know, United Earth Federation, human. We can change our system theme. We can change our class theme. Our name theme remains because that is what the characters are named after. So like Brendan Kriker, Yamal Bannister, Karen Edshi, Sarah Evangelist, Tara Joplin. Those are going to remain. Want to change the theme? Could, or we can add a theme. Adjust the, you know, it's like currently everything is United States. We could go to Roman. Let's say 10%. Add theme. Wow. So from now on, United States characters will be named 90% of the time. Roman characters will be named 10% of the time. So every 10 of these guys named, you'll get one of these guys named. That's all a racial thing. Academies, academy training, officers, how many times people get promoted. How much crew members will get at 10,000. Crew members matter in terms of ships, because if you look at the Geosurvey ship over here, it requires 91 crew. Or the missile destroyer over here requires 148 crew. You know, 148 crew divided by that number, it's probably not going to be. Let's look at the fuel harvester over here. 300 crew. That's 300. We could build 300 fuel harvesters before we would need to start worrying about, you know, how many junior officers we have or crew members. We're rarely going to design that much, so this number is not going to matter too much. But we're going to want to get more. Yeah, more academies, be more training level, which means more graduates, means more of that. You know, this is, you know, how people look. You know, populations, all this. You know, everything combined. You know, all our technologies, everything we chose at the beginning of the game. Which also brings us to this menu, which is roughly the same. If we had something else to compare to, we might compare it. then we have the system view, which shows you all the things in the system in a condensed view. Notice that we don't have colonies on these anymore. But remember what I was saying? Human. You got your colony, which is human, 500 million. If you put like Imperial on that starting thing, you would get Imperial here now. But that's not what it's like, I want it to be known as humans. This is going to be important for me later. When I'm looking at a bunch of like different races, like those guys are called Imperial. What are we called? Tropical? No. Anyways, this gives you your basic thing. The only thing to note about this, it's like, this is the sun, Sol. It has 19 planets, 112 moons, 480 asteroids, 28 comets. One of these planets is habitable. 2 of them are near habitable out of 15 possible. Yeah, it's like, this is what you're going to look at immediately when you look at this. Everything else doesn't really matter too much. You got all moons. It's like everything, minerals, nothing. Everything, minerals, nothing. Everything, minerals, nothing. I want to say it keeps colonies regardless. Alright, so we're looking at all this. U means you haven't looked at it. Means you probably need to send a geosurvey ship at it. M means you've looked at it. And it has minerals on it. And as you can tell, we got the mineral breakdown here. E, OEM eligibility, orbital mining eligible. I'm not 100% sure on how orbital mining works, because I keep trying it and I keep failing at it. So that's all I know about it, really. Click this button and it'll tell you whether or not the body is eligible for orbital mining. And if it has a number, like has a 1, 2, 3 after it, it usually has like M1, M2, M3. That means it has minerals on it. Would be under survey sites. No, that's the wrong button. And requires someone to an additional survey, which means you need to develop a formation that has geosurvey in it. So you need to research in ground combat geosurvey equipment. So that's what that means. UE. The other thing you want to pay attention to is distance. If you look at this thing, all the asteroids are here now. You're going to use the middle mouse button to zoom in and out. Use the right thing left click and hold to move things around. Okay, I think right click only applies to center yourself on a planet, which is also what a left click does. This is why I'm saying, you know, distance matters. This little thing over here requires you to travel, let's say, 30 billion kilometers twice. So that's a 6 billion kilometers both directions. And if your survey ship only has 124 million, it's never going to get there. I think this arrives like once every million years or something like that into our system. So Planet X is always called Minerva. The theory behind Planet X is an interesting thing, to say the least. Because, was it the guy who found Uranus or Neptune? Was it Neptune or Uranus? One of those two planets was like, hey, there could be a planet out here, and there could be a planet closer than Mercury. Because we can't figure out why, you know, things are not perfect. Because of Sir Isaac Newton's formula for the universe. You know, things aren't perfect. Because things aren't perfect, there's got to be a planet between somewhere around here. He did theorize, you know, it's like, oh, Uranus is off course because, you know, it's probably a planet over here. So the guy found Neptune, or theorized where Neptune was. You know, yeah, it's like Uranus is being affected by Jupiter. Oh, is it? No. We got Jupiter is affecting Saturn, but Saturn's being affected by something more. So probably Uranus or maybe Neptune, something like that. I don't remember which way it was. But he theorized where the planet was going to be. It's like, hey, someone looking into the thing, there might be something there. That's how we found Neptune. I think that's also somewhat how we found Pluto. Or did he find Pluto? Oh, he might have found Pluto. That's why. Was it Neptune or Pluto? Like, okay, that's, you know, stuff. It's like the asteroids and comets in this area over here also be affected by a little bit more than what gravity and other things are predicting. So, like, this is where Minerva comes in. It's like these things are being affected a little bit more than they should. So there might be a planet out here. There's also a theory of, like, there might be a sun in the area. You know, a dark sun that's been captured. But finding a black object on a black object is ridiculous. Anyways. That's only been in the past, what, 100, 150 years-ish? Yeah, I think the guy was looking for things in the late 1800s. So yeah. Anyways. So Minerva's Planet X. I think it was just called Planet X before it's like, hey, it might be, you know, it's like Planet X instead of being like Planet 10. But, you know, that's where Minerva comes from. So Minerva, it's your Planet X, your not real but real situation. These are all the things around Planet Minerva, all theoretical, like, fantasy thing. The only reason I put it there or I use it is simply because click. All right. One of the few reasons I ever use that. That just censors the map, so I'm always circling around Earth. Click Luna or click Earth, then the map will always be there. All right. LP1? Oh. That's around Jupiter. Okay. So if you ever see an LP on a planet thing, it actually refers to a Lagrange point, which is a subsystem jump. So let's say the guy was going from like Whipple to Core over here. He would go to the Lagrange point if there was like a system point over here, so go bop bop bop, and goes there. And then on the return trip, he would just go back like that. But most ships would use a Lagrange point to... It's basically a shortcut within the system. So that's what an LP is. Usually centered around gas giants. So you don't have to worry about that too much. Alright, so we are on intelligence foreign relations. If you ever come across a different civilization, you could choose what civilization you're looking at through this. You can change the themes, use real... Oh, is that... But usually you're looking at the ship list, any attributes they have, and any weapons and technology they have, and how many they have. And if they have a low number, like a -9 or a 10 or a 0, that means they may be mad at you, but they're trying to communicate with you. If they have like a -100 or more, you're at war. Don't worry about it. Just kill them. Because most of this stuff you can rename. When you find a civilization, they'll get an immediate naming convention. You can also change them, change their name stuff. So say you found like aliens in system Icedale, so they become known as the Icedale aliens. But their picture is like a corgi, so you can be like, I want these guys to be named like the corgi animals. Yeah. So the race will be corgi animals now, for whatever reason. This is developed technologies. Anything the civilians developed, anything that clicked is obsolete. Mineral search. This is the mineral tab. Mineral search. This is what I usually use when I'm beginning to look at a system. Because we only looked at Earth so far. We only know about Earth. When you send more exploration things around, you'll get things better. So if they have any materials on them, they'll be listed if you just click search. Within the soul. Within everything you found, within a system you found. Don't include things that are controlled by aliens. Check the colony costs. So max CC will matter. OEM eligible, orbital mining eligible, exclude anything that requires high gravity, anything with a search flag on it. Include gas giants. Gas giants only really matter for like Sorium, so you generally want to include asteroids because not including asteroids is kind of bad because sometimes there's just a ton of materials on them. Most of the time they're just trace amounts, so you don't really need to know about them too much. Which is where we get to that one thing I was talking about earlier. Aurora Electrons, that's what it was. I was trying to... My Windows was kind of like concerned about it. Like, do you want to run this? I'm like, yeah, I really want to run this. So Aurora Electrons will first choose a game that you're looking at. Just like choose that thing. You got your productions, things that are happening. You know, queued. Research, shipyards. Anything to be concerned about, you know, intruders, you got arc ground units. Ships on low maintenance. You know, we're not producing any ordnance there. We're not producing any fighters on Earth. We got an active life pod. We got 3 wrecks. But, you know, this is where you really want to look at minerals. Habitability, you know, tech tree, information. Map world in progress. Because the map is ridiculous. When we get down to it. Oh, I didn't talk about the map yet, I skipped it. I didn't click that, okay. This gives you a breakdown of where you want to be, what you want to do, how the things you are that you want to do. Like, this is a low priority type thing. Like, you're never really gonna mine that stuff. But it also comes with this thing, which you really want to mine. It's really good. Again, this is what, you know, electrons is really good when you're spanning things, when you're too big. But when you're small, you're just going to use this and, like, search. Not sure if that was. If you don't put a number, it's not going to filter. Let's say we put, like, Galisite. We need anything with a trace of Galisite. It will only start listing stuff with Galisite. It'll start with the highest number. And you have the accessibility, which is, you know, how easy it is to get to it. Which is, if you looked at the electrons and it said it had the red numbers, that was very hard to get. Even though, like, some of the numbers were really good on it. It's like the availability was like, there's 3 million iridium there. But you can't really get to it. You're just going to chip at it forever. So to get it by the barrel load, you're going to get it by the shovel. Yeah, 1 shovel a day or a month. Whereas everything else you get like barrels of. it abstracts, you know, the like environmental and difficulty of getting to that minerals. Like, oh, it's under the water, in acid. It's gonna take tons of effort to get to it, and in that tons of effort situation, you know, we're gonna get like this thing that's over there in that is a mountain, and we're just gonna mine that mountain easily versus like the acid river. All right, so solar map gives you a whole new map. And you got this stuff too, but you're not really gonna press most of these buttons. Maybe press like the naval thing. And you got your stuff, sectors, themes, unexplored jump points. So if you found a jump point but haven't gone through it, you know, you get a number, I think a yellow number. Jump point survey status means you haven't looked at all the jump points. Survey bodies, you know, how many things have been looked at. Currently it's just Earth, so it's at 0%. Survey locations, how many total things that you can look that are bodies that you can look at. Warship locations. This is where the this comes in. So if you had a fleet, it would pop it up over here. Like if we grab this, no, not that. That. Built miscellaneous. This build. Okay. Doesn't show up yet. Okay. So yeah, so there's the thing I was talking about, where it's like, hey, there's that thing. Now it's right there. Now you got warships. This is things that are designed to fight. Fleet locations. This will also include like civilians and other things, so you know where they are. Populated systems, things with colonies with population on it. Sectors, if you built sectors. Shipyard complexes. Naval headquarters. Maintenance areas. Ground survey locations. If you found a spot that needs additional observation, you know, that will be gray, I believe. Or so, yeah. Alien control systems you given over to aliens. Which kind of sounds odd. But all systems are yours unless you say otherwise. So it's like, oh, I'm going to concede this system to you. I'll give it to you. I'm, you know, contact systems. This is systems that you've found with other people or other people have gone through type situations. Comets and planetless systems. This is where I would put like, I would name the system like Comet Lane. So you have a system that's just like a sun and some comets. So this would be in white, I believe. Security status. This is if you went like military restrict or fleet blocking. That would be, oh no, if you military restrict the system. That's it. Or do you fleet block it? One of those two. And you got a possible dormant jump point. That means you've seen someone come into the system from a jump point you don't recognize. So you might send them back there to look at it. But generally you want to go the other way. Blocked systems, military restricted systems, mineral search flag, distance away. So if you had a system selected, you would see discovery date. In general, you don't need much of this. Like survey points, Like I would put like explore jump points, jump point survey stats, system bodies. Maybe this stuff, you know, it's like it depends on what I need to look at right then. Like if I need to know where all my ships are and where they're not exploring, I'd have fleet load that. Populated systems generally don't matter unless you're in a war and trying to figure out where to do stuff. Sectors you're never going to get to. Shipyard complexes. All of this is generally on the same spot as a populated system, so you don't really need to worry about it. Alien controlled systems matter when you have aliens. You might want to do contact systems, so you know where you spotted someone. If you want to have a click, comments in a plant list system, so you know that that's just a comment lane spot, and probably a possible dormant jump point. You want to click that up when you find alien control systems. I'll just probably leave it at there. Ground survey locations are important to know about. When you're at war, you need to know about distance from system. You can plan, when you're developing military ships and other things, you need to plan out how things need to go. Possible, so distance, like how far do I want to send this thing, how long it'll take, all that stuff. So those would be my things I would put there. Don't really need that. Contacts don't really need to care about. Labels don't care about. Survey sites, same thing as the other thing. We have this button and artifacts, so you can just see where they are in comparison. So these will just tell you where they are and how good they are. Well, this one will do the same, but you'll have the context of how far those planets are from you. But generally, when you come to this map, you want to line up systems and then save systems, because these things are just placing, the game will just place these things all over the place, and if you don't save them and you click a button like return systems to their last positions, it'll go to last position of save systems, which means all these little systems will automatically go to Sol. Because this is point 0, and everything will go to point 0. Anything that isn't saved elsewhere, you just want it. Whenever you find a system, it's like, discovered this system. Click this, save position. So I know where this position is. And if you move things around, you want to use the line up to grid. I don't know why it's a hidden grid, because I kind of want it to be a visible grid. Being a hidden grid kind of annoys me. Or a toggle of that. It's like, toggle it so I can look at the grid and not look at the grid. And I can't zoom in or out or anything. I can just move left to right with a right click or left click. Alright. So then we have events. This is the same thing as this tab, but if it gets cut off, like research complete, research into 5C high power microwave complete. Oh, I see that there's more under there. What is under there? Where is it? It's Gauss cannon. Alright, so right there. All this is still being pushed down there, but you can't see it. So that's what this means. How many days? Let's say I usually put 360. That's about a year. And if you ever find something that you don't want, you can also hide the event. You can change the text color. Boom, that's now text color. Or maybe I want to change the background color. Boom. We'll change this little area. If you refresh, this is what this button is, refresh. So if you survey something, you're like, oh, why does it say I need a survey here but not here in this event tab? Refresh, and I'll, you know, that thing will go there. So anything it will take the research complete. It'll only affect this little table, row, column. You know, you can make that as eye-pleasing as you want. If you don't want to see it ever again, click hide event. If you're like, oops, I made a mistake, go to show, click show event, click that, click hide event to undo it. Text color, oh, you can copy color? I'm not sure what copy color does if you can't paste color. Maybe it's because we don't have another thing. Oh, that's probably where it's import color. Oh, that's, okay. You create a whole new table for it. You can filter, blah. And then you have the save button, which will save everything between. Maybe done. It's your last save. You might want to click it a few times. Space Master mode. Automated turns on and off. And then lastly, we have increment links. Now, I really don't use whatever this is. Sub pulse. Okay. So this is just moving the map around, in or out. You know. And an increment length. If you have production on anything, yeah, your increment length for research, your increment length for industry will all be based on a 5-day tick. But sometimes you just don't want to be there. You just want to be like, okay, 1,000 5-day ticks is not good. I want it to be longer. You have your 30-day ticks. So those things will happen as they happen. So this is like a week tick. This is like a month tick. Those would be your generic ones. When you're in combat, you'll probably be in 5-second to 30-second things. Maybe even minutes. You know, it's like if you can't find someone, you're gonna be in like hour to minutes. When you have someone in review, you're gonna be in 5-second bursts. Because your missiles need to load, reload, and all that stuff. So you want like, okay, my missile firing solution is 25 seconds. I'm going to click the 30-second thing. And you generally want to be automated turns off in combat. But if you're not in combat, you want it to be automated turns on. So if I click the 30 days, it will just go 30 days and 30 days and 30 days and 30 days. Until it hits something that's like, hey, you need to look at this. So once it hits a stop point, it will automatically stop. But it can, in theory, go infinite. it generally like tells me to stop when it has like research labs available. It's like, hey, you need to do some research, or hey, something got built. Or hey, someone shot at you, missiles at you. Like if you're in combat and you accidentally click the 30-day thing, it will process as much as it can before it throws it back at you. So you could be hit by 1 billion missiles accidentally. Ugh. So that's basically the interface. Wow, that was a 3-hour thing to explain this. Alright. That'll be it for today. Tomorrow we will talk about shipbuilding and, you know, how to start the game. But that is basically everything. You know, we did the start. We've gone through the start. We've gone through each of these little tabs. We've gone, described every little tab. Formation templates. I mean, we probably need to go a little bit further into that. Definitely need to go further into like designs and such. But that is your basic overview for now. We'll go over other things tomorrow. That's it. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day.